Thank you all for joining the MITS webinar today. We're going to have our presentation by Colin Sherman with MITS. And Colin, please take it away.
All right. Thank you so much, Gary. This is always one of my favorite groups to do presentations for. I'm pretty darn excited. So today's presentation is called Data Overload, Knowing What to Look For in Your SX.e System. And it comes from kind of a funny story, which I'll tell in just a second. Let me start by introducing myself for those that don't know me. My name's Colin Sherman. I'm the Director of Sales over here at MITS. I've actually been with the company 18 years. And in that time, I've always worked with the distribution side of what we do. Originally, about 7 or 8 years ago, I was the one that led us into the SX.e market. I did a bunch of work in the SX.e market, eventually handing it off to another rep. When that rep left, I eagerly asked if I could have the market back. So I've been working with the SX.e market again, and it's just a lot of fun. You'll notice from the picture that I am definitely not the star quarterback of the football team type of guy growing up. I am a giant nerd. And for part of my nerdiness is that I want to know everything there is to know about everything. So I'm a data junkie. And my habits about being a data junkie are a key part of this presentation, which we'll talk about in just a moment. So a little bit about us. We're a 22-year-old software company out of Seattle. The entirety of what we do is business intelligence and reporting for distribution and manufacturing. That's what we do. We've been doing that a very long time. We have about 900 customers. Of those 900, about 600 to 650 of them are distributors. Of those distributors, about 200 of those are on Infor, SX.e and A+. So, oh, I'm sorry. The number's a little bit higher if you include fax. So, but it's more like 240 if you do fax, A+, and SX.e. All right. So, I was trying to explain the value of what we do as a company to a new hire. And I was telling a story, and I used the metaphor that I have one picture of my grandparents and thousands of pictures of my kids. And that was something I was trying to explain. And the new hire said, that is a great way to explain this. You should put that into a presentation. Well, we rotate through our presentations. We do a lot of educational presentations, and then every once in a while, we want to do just kind of a general overview of what we do. This is an overview of what we do. That is what we're going to do today. However, it's from the point of view of having some fun with it. So I said to that guy, Sean is his name, that I have one picture of my grandparents. So I went through the garage, went box through box, and I found this picture of my grandparents. Now, what's funny is, this is the only picture that I could find. This is my mother's parents. And what's even funnier about it is that that's not me. That's my brother, Rob. When we're that young, it's very difficult to tell the difference, but I'm relatively sure that that's not me and that that's Rob. So that's kind of funny in and of itself, that the one picture that I could find is of my brother. Okay? So then I said, well, I'm going to need a picture of my kids to complete this story. And so I went through my phone and I found this picture. I'm actually stepdad, and this is a few months after the kids and I met about 4 years ago now, taking a picture for their mom, my now fiance, for Mother's Day. We took this picture, we put it in a frame. So because this picture is so important to me, it must have been incredibly easy to find, right? Well, no, because there's thousands of pictures of these kids on my phone, thousands of them. And even if my phone was able to sort accurately on which pictures are of the kids and which are not, I still have to go through all of it. So what does this have to do with distribution? What does it have to do with it at all? Well, both of these are data problems, and they're both data problems that distributors have. So the first problem with my only having one picture of my grandparents is that there isn't any data. There's nothing for me to go grab to remind myself what my grandparents look like. And further, that one picture of my grandparents was very hard to find. It took me 3 or 4 hours in the garage, which are not my favorite 3 or 4 hours. The garage is where messes go to die. The other problem is I have thousands and thousands and thousands of pictures on my phone, and I want to find just one. That's also an issue that distributors have with data. So in your ERP, in SX.e, you have huge amounts of data. Is the thing you're looking for in there, or is it like the picture of my grandparents? Or is it in there, but it's muddied up with all of those other pictures that are on our phones? Well, regardless of which problem you're talking about, it is an issue. And how big of an issue it is easiest explained if we talk about Hans Rosling. Hans is one of my heroes. Hans sadly passed away a few years ago. Before that, he ran a group called the Gapminder Institute. Gapminder, Gapminder. If you go look up Gapminder, it is super interesting. Their goal is to eliminate worldwide ignorance. That's their goal. Pretty big goal, right? And what they do is they do studies about the world and then educate people on how wrong we all are. It turns out lots of the things that we all know about the world are just wrong. We heard it on the news, or a friend told us at work, or we saw a picture on Facebook with words on it, and we got this stuff in our head, and we've decided that this is a thing, and it's not actually. One of the easiest explanations of this is this is actually the safest time to have ever lived in our country. You are the least likely to be murdered right now of any of the history of the United States. You guys know that? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Lots of people don't know that. And they don't know that because we don't get that data from anywhere. We're given anecdotal things here and there. Well, Hans put that into a bunch of research, and he came up with his general premise of much of his research, which is without proper data, we make decisions that are worse than random. We're actually not very good at making decisions. We're actually not great at it. And it's annoying. We need data. We need information. We need it to be cohesive. We need it to be correct. We need it to be easy to understand. Because then we can make decisions on what actually happened versus what didn't happen. Now, when I wrote up the explanation of this webinar, I said I'd tell funny stories about mistakes distributors make. Here's my first one. I have multiple times been at a distributor walking through their warehouse and had the person giving me the tour stop and say, holy crap, we're out of this product, and point it somewhere on the plan in the warehouse where there's no product. Multiple times this has happened. Holy crap, I can't believe we're out of this. I need to immediately let them know to order more of it. That's okay, but that's not great. Who's to say that being out of that thing that you walked by in the warehouse is actually bad? Or is that person going to go look at the data? I don't think they are. I think they're just going to buy more of it because you always buy more of it. Well, always buying more of it is a lot of why dead stock happens, and it's a lot of why distributors could be more efficient with better data. So that's the premise of who we are and what it gets us excited. Okay. So here's the problem that you guys have related to all of this. Business systems, and SX.e, A+, and FACS are certainly included in this. Business systems are easy to put data into and difficult to get data out of. They are similar to the pictures areas of our phones. It is incredibly easy. In the next 30 seconds, you could take 200 photos if you wanted. And that 200 photos that you take will make it significantly harder to find that other data. So SX.e is not very good at getting that data out. So what we do is we've created a package of software. Whoa, that wasn't good. My slides just went crazy. Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on, but my keyboard is not working. And that's not great because I'm going to need that. Let's see if I can't figure out why it's not working. There we go. All right. We have a package of software that we deliver to distributors to help them with these problems. And it's called MITS Distributor Analytics. And it includes all of our software and all of our content. So our software helps distributors take their data and easily, even without being technical, put it into reports, dashboards, scorecards, and charts so they can see it and they can make decisions off of it. Those same people, again, not necessarily technical, are able to drill down, they're able to trend information, they're able to see charts, they're able to make their own dashboards, they can do all of that. In doing that for 20 years, we've discovered that what you guys want and what other SX.e users want, what other distributors want, is very similar. There's some differences, but for the most part, it's very similar. So we've gone to our customers and said, what does this actually need to do? Where's the value going to come from? how is it going to make you money? And our distributors gave us a ton of information, which we took and built into the tool as pre-made content. So today, when we go live for an SX.e customer, there's over 1,000 reports, dashboards, and scorecards that are already designed. They're already there, they're already accurate, they're already good to go. All right? So let's go look at the demo now. All right. So here we go. This is in a browser, okay? Our software installs wherever your ERP is. If your ERP is on-premise, we're going to install on-premise. If our ERP is in the cloud, if your ERP is in the cloud, maybe you've done Cloud Suite, we're going to install there. By the way, Burst and MITS are the only two BI products that Infor has certified for CSD, for Cloud Suite. Just as a thing to mention there. We work great with it. We've got customers running it. It's good to go. Regardless of where you install your software, you're going to get access to it through a browser. So whether it's installed on-premise or in the cloud, doesn't matter. You're still getting access wherever you'd like to get access, in Chrome, Internet Explorer, Firefox, Safari, whatever, also on mobile devices. Maybe you've got an iPhone or an iPad or an Android tablet or a Surface, doesn't matter. Works on all of those. And you're always going to have to log in through our security layer to protect who can see what information. So when I log in, you're going to see an example of one of our dashboards. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go through 3 or 4 examples of how distributors use our software to get that better information, to make Hans Rosling proud of us in his grave. Zombie Hans Rosling, I suppose. Two important things to remember as I go through this demo. The first of which is that this is an actual distributor's data. One of our distributors gave us their information. We made a demo system out of it. All the numbers are true. The stories I'm going to tell you are, I would tell in the first person. I was there. I do know the stories. The second thing is that we don't believe in smoke and mirrors here. If I show you something in this demo, you will have it from day one, or if you're a customer, you either already have it or we can add it to your system at your request. All right, let's go ahead and zoom in. This is the executive dashboard, and it's a great example because often the issue with data at a distributor is not getting a particular piece of information. It's seeing all the pieces of information that you need all at once. So this one, the idea is that the executive team gets it, and it's kind of a high-level overview. And it starts with financial data. Revenue and profit for the last 13 months. You can see I can highlight over the revenue here, highlight the profit, you can see the month-by-month values. Down here, this is a little mini P&L. Okay, so you've got revenue, COGS, expense, and profit, year over year, and then the trend. How much cash do we currently have, and how does that differ from how much cash we had at the end of the previous month? How much money is owed to us, and how late is it? And how much money do we owe, and when is it due? Now, as I go through, you'll see that each number on the dashboard is a link. See how my mouse cursor is turning into a clicky hand? That's because every single number on every dashboard can be drilled into to see the actual detail, which we're not going to do right now, but we'll do in just a moment. Up here, you've got our open order data, okay? How much business have we received that we've not fulfilled? What's the margin on that business? How old is that business? How much are we selling right now? And how profitable is that? And on average, how much profit per invoice are we dealing with? Not only for the month, but for year over year, as well as the trend. This is by location, how much each of them has sold stacked on top of each other. Now, that's great. Some people only have one location, or they don't want to see sales by location. That's fine. You guys can toggle this out. You can put in the sales by product category or by customer or whatever you'd like to do. Up here, we're looking at inventory. Now, one of the problems we ran into with inventory reporting against SX.e and A+ and FACS is that none of them do a good job of accurate historical inventory information. So if we're talking about the need to be able to go back through data and learn from it and make the best decisions off data we can't do that if we don't have historical inventory data. We need to be able to see how much inventory did we have a month ago? How much inventory did we have 6 months ago? How much inventory did we have a year ago? Is dead stock getting better? Are turns improving? Which products are most responsible for a decline in turns? To do all of that, we need historical inventory. So what we did is we created a custom program that starts today. It churns back through history and it accurately figures out how much inventory you have, basically month-end inventory numbers. It figures them out for you, and then they're just there ready to go. So this particular one's showing 3 months worth of inventory, on-hand value, turns, generate profit. You can break these down all those different ways: vendor, buyer, product category, product, whatever. Here's your order fulfillment information. How many days, if we receive an order today, on average, how many days does it take to get that order out? And what's the percentage chance that we're going to ship a line complete? Then down here is purchasing history. Okay? How are the vendors performing for us? What's their fill rate to us? Things like that. Now, this is great, but this data is not actionable currently because you only are seeing the summaries. So what you need to do is you need to drill down. So if I want to know what's up with this 30% increase in sales, I click on it and it gives me a list of different ways that I can drill it down. Customer, location, product, whatever I want to do. So customer. I'm going to zoom this out once. Okay. Here's all my customers, sales month to date, year over year, and the trend. Now, when we install for SX.e, we actually match your vocabulary. So don't worry too much about what the words are here. We're using generic vocabulary here, so you guys will understand kind of everything that I'm talking about. Well, in SX.e, we pull from a list of that data. But here we go. It says, hey, do you want to break this report down by customer, groups of customers, who bought it, how much of it was direct shipped, what location sold it, who took the order, what product did we sell from what product category? There's a lot here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drill this down by product category. Okay? I'm actually going to zoom this out one more. There we go. So here's all of our product categories. Oh, see, I did it under customer. I meant to do it up here. Let's do it again. Very easy. All right, then the other thing that I can do is I can go through this and I can actually change the report up here too. I can sort it differently. I can add a filter. I can do math on the fly, whatever I'd like to do. So I'll do some math, and I'm going to do in dollars the difference from one year to another. I'm going to take that, bring it to the front of the report. Then I'm going to sort it low to high. There you go. Now I've got a list of my product categories that are most declining in dollars year over year. So I take a particular product category, I break it down by product, and that shows all of the different products that we sold under that product category. I take one of those products, I break it down by customer, and I see the customers that bought that product in that product category from our company. I can continue breaking this down if I want by ship to customer or something like that. It's great that I can go on whatever path I want through the data. Keep in mind, there's no limitation here. So you guys can go in and you can say, I want to see territory into sales rep, into customer, into build to, into ship to, into product. Fine. I want to see product into vendor, into customer, into warehouse. Also fine. Whatever order you want, all of the modules across the entire system. Once you've gotten down this far, you can click over here on the numbers that have turned blue, and that gives you detailed transactional data. Detailed transactional data because it's the actual invoice line detail from the system that makes it up. Invoice number, order number, invoice date, all the way over to things like quantity ordered, invoiced, cost, and price. You can take any of these reports and you can drop them to Excel with just a click. You can see it's going to open a spreadsheet down here at the bottom of my screen. If I click on that, it does open it right up in Excel. There it is, easy to go. I also could send it out as an email and just say, hey, let's send it to someone. And off it goes. That's great because I can see something that's an immediate problem and I can send it out to someone. What's more important than that is that you can send something out on whatever schedule you would like. Every Monday, every quarter, the 5th of every month, every afternoon, and you can send it to whoever you like. We don't limit that in any way. So you want to send it out to your customers? Fine. Vendors, that's good too. Sales reps, awesome. And all of those are going to pass through our security on their way out. So if you guys have 20 sales reps that need a report, you can make one report, send it out, and it will individualize itself for all 20 of those sales reps. It'll do that for you. Okay, I'm going to take this report, and we're going to make this a little bit more about how the system will actually get used. So now I've made this report by product. So now I've got by declining products by sales, okay? I have sat in meetings at distributors where people look at this report and say, get this up to the sales reps, they need to sell these products. That is two-dimensional. That is not actually necessarily the case. What if these are items that you don't actually carry anymore? For whatever reason, you've decided not to sell them. Well, in that case, we need more data. So I'm going to click up here on columns. Now, part of the importance of this is the ability to go get whatever data you'd like whenever you want without having to be technical. So the first list you're going to see here is a list of all of the columns that we built out from sales data. Average days late, lead time, profit per invoice, profit by line, profit per unit, COGS cost, commission cost, line count, sales load. There's a lot here. And every single one of these is broken out by whatever time periods your company uses for reporting. Days, weeks, months, quarters, years, whatever. If I click on month, you'll see that I can actually click it here and add a few more months worth of data. See? Similarly, I don't have to necessarily use all these aggregated fields that we pulled into the system. I also could grab raw data. We take every file that we grab, product, warehouse, product category, vendor, customer, sales rep, whatever, and we grab every field from those as well that you can grab. So their address, the customer's phone number, a longer product description, whatever. Similarly, you also can grab data from related modules. So here's all the modules in the demo system, whether it be AP or AR or bookings or whatever, and as long as the drill down that we're using, which right now is product, as long as that drill down matches the data that we want to see, we're good to go. We can grab whatever we want. So what stuff can we see by product? Well, let's go grab some inventory data because I know we can see that by product. I'm going to grab total on-hand value. I'm going to grab turns, and then I'm also going to go to open purchase order analysis, and I'm going to grab open PO amount. So now I've grabbed how much do we have in inventory, how's it turning, and have we bought more of it? So this declining product sales report that we were looking at before just became a lot more interesting, right? It's not about giving you a number that you don't have. This is all data that you have. The key is getting it really super easy and fast so that you can make the decisions on it. So let's do this just on the spur of the moment here. Let's look through this and say, well, I'm really interested in products that are declining that we carry still. So I'm going to go ahead and filter the on-hand value of this inventory by 0 and say, only show me stuff where we have it in inventory. There you go. And then we have it in inventory, but maybe I'm curious if it's turning badly. So let's say we only want to see if it is turning at a less than or equal to a 1. And then finally, I'm going to say, and we've bought more of it. So now this report is products that are declining in sales, where we have them in inventory, they're turning badly, but don't worry everybody, we bought more of it. And I've seen this so much at distributors. It is so regular that purchasing is a place where immense value can be, additional value can be found. And part of that is because purchasing agents and most distributors don't have good data. So they're right there where Hans Rosling talks about, where they are trying to manage based on anecdotal evidence and past experience and something somebody told them, which are none of those are good ways to get data. And if you use Facebook and you see the pictures that people post with the words on them, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I like to just kind of wander through my Facebook each morning and put in the actual logic, like data-driven articles about why all those things are wrong. That's what I kind of like to do. But again, remember, I'm a big nerd. Okay. So Additionally, if I want to know more about one of these products, I could go run the Product 360 scorecard, which is a scorecard all about that item. So I see an item that worries me, and I jump over and see the whole thing. Instead of spending time on this, and it's pretty, there's stuff to spend time on here. It's got like, how much of it are we selling, and how profitable is it, and are people overwriting it, and are we buying it, and all that stuff, okay? Instead of all of that, I'm going to take what I just said about purchasing, and I'm going to expand on it. Because when I go to companies, and I've been doing this a long time, when I go to companies, what I hear is, I want sales reporting. And that's fine, because the ROI of sales reporting is pretty easy. Give better data to your sales reps, teach them how to use it, have them have better conversations, they'll make more money. If you're on our email list, you probably saw the Donut Guy video that came out. Great video that our marketing department put together, very entertaining. It's about the premise that a sales guy will go out to a company and say, I bought donuts, what do you need? And then the customer will say, nothing. And the rep will go, okay, cool, I'll be back next week with more donuts. That's the donut guy. They're not providing any value other than spending your money on donuts and giving donuts to the customer, okay? You can fix that donut guy. You can give him better information, okay? Everybody asks about sales. The next thing everybody asks about is dead stock. Eventually, people ask me about purchasing. Well, to me, purchasing is a place where they don't have all the data that they should yet, and yet they can decide how much we're kicking it, how well we're doing on but just from their department. It's that important. So we've created a new dashboard called the Purchasing Dashboard. And the Purchasing Dashboard is a huge amount of content for your purchaser, for a buyer or for a location manager or for the whole company. You can run it a bunch of different ways. And it starts off simply with inventory information. And then sales and purchasing over the last 13 months. We've looked at all that. I'm going to zoom in a little bit and show you guys the next section of this report, which is called the Make Money section. Okay? And it starts with products to order. Now, these products to order are not replacing purchasing in SX.e. We're trying to catch things SX.e missed. We're trying to catch new things and different things that you've already been catching. So, how many days inventory on hand or on PO do we have of each of these items? What's the lead time to get more? Now, that's actual lead time. We look at the date that you ordered something and the date you received it, and we break it down by vendor, by product category, all these different ways, and give you actual lead time. So there's the actual lead time to get more. How much of it do we use each day? How much do we have? How much is on the way? How does it turn? We take all that, put it all together, and find products that we want to suggest to you that you buy, and then we put days to order before stock out on it. And in this case, those numbers are negative because we don't have any of this product. It takes 43 days to get more of it, so we have negative 43 days to buy it. All right? Non-stocks to review for inventory. Okay? What are we selling a lot of that should probably be a stock item? Products to return. What do we have a ton of that we've bought recently? And you can set these bought recently fields to whatever your return policy is with your vendor. So you say, we have 6-month return policy with our vendor. Show me everything I bought in the last 6 months where I have 6 months or a year of inventory or whatever. That's what that does. Okay? The next section is the don't lose money section of the report. And it starts with product suppliers with low turns and low average lead time. These are vendors that when we buy from, we get the product crazy fast. However, our turns are bad, meaning we're not buying from them very efficiently. We can buy from them in smaller quantities more often, or maybe even move that stuff to direct ship, right? And by doing that, we raise our turns on these vendors, which puts money into the business. Underneath that is the report I just made for you. Open purchase orders, things that we've bought that have low turns and we already have them in stock. Underneath that is open POs, more than 6 months supply. That is things that we have on order where we already have 6 months worth of it. And then open POs in stock elsewhere is if you do your purchasing by location, it says these are items that you've bought into this location that you already have at other locations. Up here is the don't get yelled at section of the report. starts with POs, the open purchase orders, things that we've ordered that aren't here yet, that are older than average lead time. They take longer than normal. They're taking longer than normal to get here. Underneath that is it's taking longer than normal to get here and we're out of it. It's taking longer than normal to get here, we're out of it, and by the way, we've got open orders for those items. Okay, that is our purchasing dashboard. I'm going to show you guys one more dashboard, and then I'm going to share a few things about why MITS is specifically designed to help you know what to look for. Okay, I'm going to talk about that with a couple funny stories. And then it'll be Q&A time. So if you have a question, throw it in the question box. All right, since we're a few minutes ahead of time here from where I thought we'd be, I'm going to go back to that donut guy story. Okay? This is a sales rep dashboard. It's this easy. Give this to the rep. It's that easy. Teach them to use it on their phone. Email it to them as a PDF if you don't think that they'll go look at it. Okay? So it starts off with how much are they selling and how profitable is it? Which product categories is the rep actually selling? This down here is a recent request from our customers. They wanted a hunting versus farming section of this dashboard. So this is showing new accounts, things that you've sold to that are brand new customers over the last 6 months and information about them. How are they selling against budget? How are they selling against the company? So one of the things we're really good at is gap analysis. So what you can do is you can see how is this thing performing against other things. So if you have your customers segmented, for example, you can say, what's this guy buying compared to what other people like this guy buy? How does that comparison work? Okay. This is showing a version of that where it's showing which product categories this rep is selling against the biggest product categories for the company. Now, if you guys ever find me at a trade show, hang out at the booth or buy me a drink and have me tell you stories about this one in particular, because the stories about this are all hilarious. My favorite one is the rep was confronted, why aren't you selling the things that everyone else is selling? And the rep said, I don't like that manufacturing rep. He gives me the creeps. I don't want to sell his products. I don't care if you don't like the guy, but that's the story. Or, oh, I wasn't here when you trained on that item, right? Silly things that are easy to overcome, but it's important to know if one rep is not doing what everybody else is doing for a bunch of reasons. Okay, how much AR is out there for this rep's customers? And then open orders. Which of his customers are most likely to be upset at him when he goes to visit, right? Open orders. Which customers are buying? Are the biggest buyers from this rep? Are they buying more or less than they did before at higher or lower profitability? And open orders. Which customers are buying outside of their normal habits? That's so the rep can catch those people when they immediately stop buying, not just year over year, not just month over month. This is looking at trended averages and figuring out who's not buying in their normal habits. Which customers did we lose the most money on from overrides? How many customers are assigned? Which ones of those assigned don't have sales? And then CRM data. Now, we're not a CRM. However, we are easily able to pull data out of WP CRM or Salesforce or Tour de Force or whatever CRM you happen to use. We're able to pull data out of it. That's what we do all the time. That's why that's there. And if you're wondering how the rep is specifically going to use this dashboard, well, they're going to say, wow, you're set tobacco, you buy 34 grand from me a month, and it's only buying 6 grand over the past few months. Let's go find out more about them by running their customer scorecard. And now I have everything that I need to know to go talk to this customer. I have what they're buying. I have what they've bought before that they're buying less of now. I have new products that they're buying. I have what other customers like them are buying, and I have how profitable they are versus an average customer. I have benchmark information that says whether this account, by invoice, by line, is a good customer. Are they returning more than the average? Are they more or less profitable? What's going on there? All right. So MITS is not a normal software company. I'm not a normal software sales guy. I am far too nerdy to be a sales guy in most software companies. I know that's weird, but it's true. Here's the problem that we perceive in distribution. I have a friend who went to college with me at the University of Washington. After our undergrad, she got a master's degree in statistics. She got hired to work at Costco. Okay, everybody knows Costco. Costco is actually originally from here in the Pacific Northwest. She works in the analyst department for the Northwest region of Costco. And I don't remember the exact number, but it's something like there's like 20 analysts or 25 graduate level analysts for the Northwest region of Costco, for one region. And that's what BI is to so many companies. Business intelligence, in the time that I've been doing this, I started selling this product in 2002, 2003. At that time, why MITS was so special was because business intelligence had been created for the Fortune 100, and then the Fortune 500, and then the Fortune 1000, and no one cared about getting it to the rest of the marketplace. Nobody cared at that time. That's not the case anymore. You guys have options. There's different BI companies that are bringing it to the small to medium business market. We handle that very differently from most. We believe that it's our job to be that analyst for you and to tell you what you need to see and help you with what's most important. We don't just want to give you a tool, we want to help you improve your company. And if I look at the reports tab over here that comes with the tool, you'll see the reports are broken into just a ton of different directories. So if I'm an inventory person, I can wander through the inventory directories and see dead stock and decreasing GEMROI and increasing GEMROI and all of that. I also, though, could just go to the getting started category. That's where I could go. These are reports that we specially designed for you to take and train your people how to make better decisions with data. That's what this is. Just a small subset of the over 1,000 reports that we've built and are accurate for SX.e. So what does that mean? What does that, we want to be a partner, we want to be the analyst for you. What does that actually mean? Okay. Well, for starters, it means we have to install this for you. If you have an IT department, great. Not all of you do, but if you do, that's great. And we'll work with that IT department to get it installed. If you don't have an IT department, we'll do it. We'll just do it. And the IT department that you do have, we'll still do it. We'll just let them help us make sure it's the way you want it to be. We'll make sure that this is 100% accurate against your data, and we'll guarantee that as part of our warranty. So at all times, if you think a number's wrong, you give us a call. We'll get it fixed. We'll get it installed in less than a month. Less than a month. Get it up, get you running, get you using it, and we'll give you a vast array of training materials. In addition to those training materials, we do about 9 to 10 educational webinars a year. I did a webinar a few years ago with a guy named John Schreibfader. The webinar was about GMROI versus turns. He feels that GMROI is undervalued in the distribution market. He wants you guys to all know about it, so we grabbed him, we did an educational webinar for our customers. In addition to that, once a year in October, we have a thing called MITS Exchange. At MITS Exchange, we spend 2 days and an evening doing nothing but education. It's not a sales pitch, there's not booths, there's not vendors trying to sell you stuff. It's just education. That's all it is. Our customers teach classes, our developers teach classes, we bring in industry experts, and we teach everyone who comes as much as we can about being a data-driven company. And that's a key part of who we are as a company, and that's why I wanted to do this presentation in kind of a fun way and talk about pictures and tell funny stories about my experiences visiting distributors. And I hope that you guys have enjoyed it. I hope I got at least a laugh out of each of you. Sometimes it's hard, like inventory humor is kind of a hard humor, things like that, but I really do enjoy what I do, and I really do appreciate you guys taking the time to hear that. What I'd like to do now is I'd like to take any questions that you guys have. There's a few common questions that I'll lead with, but we have just a minute or two. If you guys want to throw your questions into the panel, it's right on the side of the screen in your GoToMeeting window. I'll be happy to answer them. Updates. How often does it update? This is a data warehouse. It's grabbing the data from your system, caching that data, and making it available for reporting. So by default, we just say everything updates nightly. That's by default, though. There's absolutely nothing stopping the product from updating every 5 minutes, if you want that. For most data, that just simply doesn't matter, so we don't worry about it. But by default, we do this nightly. we do completely support Cloud Suite. I mentioned that earlier. There's questions about that. If you move to Cloud Suite, MITS goes with you. If you have Cloud Suite, we already work for it. We have customers live on it. We had Infor's developers help making that work. We had their technical support making sure that works. Every other version of Infor is the same to us. So if you're on 6.0.1 or whatever, and you're moving to Web UI, doesn't matter. Our installing it doesn't change. Install MITS will work after you've updated. We are partnered with all of the I think all of the largest Infor partners at this point, NSA, Central Data, and certainly Action. And if any of those three, if you'd like to ask any of those three about us, those are three of our biggest supporters in the market. Any other questions? All right, I'm going to be reaching out to each of you that allowed me to do so and asking you guys what you thought. If you'd like, you can feel free to message me proactively, and I'd love it. There's my email address and my phone number. If you have questions, reach right out. I'm very easy to get a hold of. If you'd like to see a presentation privately for your group, I'm happy to do that. If you just want to talk about BI, I'm happy to do that as well. And with that,
Colin,
I think,
yeah,
go ahead, Gary.
Colin, did you see the question that came in from Chad in response to it? Did I miss that?
I have the questions field and there's nothing in it.
All right.
You want to read
So the
it to
question
me?
he asks is, generally speaking, if we have a standard report generated in SX, is this something that can be viewed in MITS?
Yes. That report is either something that we've already built or something that you'd have to create in MITS that might take a minute.
Okay.
And by the way, if you have Hyperion, which lots of you do, we have tools to grab the stuff in Hyperion you've done and bring it over to MITS without having to recreate it. That's been a big deal as we've been helping people move off of Hyperion. All right.
Okay.
Gary,
I don't see any other questions.
Yeah.
Yep. We're good. Thank you, Colin. I appreciate it. Good webinar.
Yeah, thanks so much. Thank you, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Have a good day, everyone. Bye.
All right, bye now.